In my white-collar workplace, where I serve as a lower-level manager overseeing a team of about 10 in a department of 25, a troubling situation unfolded over the past several months. Our office has a relaxed vibe, with coworkers often bonding as friends, grabbing drinks after work, or attending social events together. About 6 months ago, a new employee, whom I'll call Emma, joined our department. Emma, who is not on my team but sits next to me in our shared office space, is in her 20s but has a petite, youthful appearance, often mistaken for a teenager. Within her first month, she began having emotional breakdowns at her desk, quietly tearing up about once every week or two. Her reasons seemed valid at first: family losses, housing troubles, legal issues, and the team rallied around her, offering support. Other women in the department would often take her aside to comfort her, and while management, including myself, suggested she take time off, she always declined, quickly resuming work with a cheerful demeanor after being consoled. 3 months ago, Emma developed an intense infatuation with a male colleague from another department. She spoke incessantly about his attractiveness, daydreaming about dating him and escaping her personal struggles. Though their interactions were minimal, just a couple of brief exchanges, she became fixated, even unaware of his name initially. Her behavior raised mild concerns, but we dismissed it as a harmless crush. Emma eventually persuaded a coworker to share her phone number with him, but he never contacted her. This rejection upset Emma significantly. She grew visibly frustrated, venting loudly at work and even texting a team lead late at night, demanding an explanation for being ignored. Despite colleagues gently suggesting he might be unavailable or uninterested, she persisted, declaring her intent to dress provocatively to make him regret his decision. She started mimicking the style of younger women in the department, purchasing similar clothing and accessories, and openly asking about their fashion choices. Her fixation zeroed in on one coworker with a distinctive Gothic style, copying her outfits almost daily. This coworker, exasperated, began wearing increasingly eccentric accessories like body chains to deter Emma's imitation, sparking quiet amusement among others who speculated whether Emma would follow suit. She didn't. One Friday, several coworkers, including Emma, went out for drinks, a common occurrence given our casual workplace. Emma, reportedly intoxicated after just 2 drinks, derailed the evening by sobbing loudly about her unrequited crush. A co-worker's sister escorted her to the restroom, where Emma ranted for over half an hour, claiming other women were jealous of her slim figure and that their partners were overly attentive to her. She confronted random women entering the restroom with similar tearful complaints, leading to her being removed from the bar by 10 p.m. The incident became a topic of embarrassed discussion for weeks. Soon after, Emma began accusing her crush of workplace harassment, alleging he followed her around the office, made inappropriate comments, and fixated on her appearance. She shared these claims with coworkers during lunch breaks and via messages, prompting me to urge her to report the issue to HR. She dismissed the suggestion, downplaying the accusations as not a big deal. However, I and others noticed her interacting normally with the man she accused, with no visible signs of distress or harassment. In one instance I witnessed, she passed him silently in the hallway, then returned to the office claiming he had cornered her in a secluded area and made lewd remarks. Alarmed by the discrepancy, I contacted HR, providing specific timestamps of her claims and noting the office's extensive camera coverage while emphasizing that I wasn't dismissing the possibility of unreported incidents. HR took swift action, scheduling a meeting with Emma, who doubled down on her accusations and requested a formal investigation. This backfired. HR reviewed camera footage from the provided timestamps and interviewed coworkers Emma had confided in, uncovering inconsistencies in her story. As word spread, more employees came forward with concerns about her behavior. Emma, unable to provide specific dates for her alleged incidents, grew increasingly distressed, citing migraines and work overload to avoid HR meetings. She also began disparaging the HR representative, calling her dismissive and rude, even showing coworkers an email she sent berating the HR staff. Emma's behavior escalated further. She became overly attached to certain female coworkers, mimicking their appearance and staring at them for extended periods, up to 30 minutes at a time, with an unsettling, vacant expression. When noticed, she seemed startled, as if unaware of her actions. I observed her discreetly following these women in common areas, lingering behind corners or near windows, her gaze intense and unsettling. While disturbing, I hesitated to report this to HR, unsure how to frame it without seeming trivial. As HR pressed for answers, Emma grew paranoid, fixated on identifying the snitch who reported her. She confronted coworkers, demanding their thoughts on her list of suspects, and made a chilling comment about wanting to bash heads when she found the culprit. This prompted another wave of HR complaints. HR suddenly stopped scheduling meetings with Emma, leading me to suspect they were consulting legal counsel about termination, though the silence unsettled the department's already tense atmosphere. One particularly vulnerable coworker, whom Emma followed to lunch daily and bombarded with messages, reported a disturbing incident. Emma had slapped her backside unprompted, claiming it was a playful gesture. This coworker, who struggles with anxiety, suffered multiple panic attacks and took time off, too afraid to report the incident for fear of retaliation. Emma later got a tattoo strikingly similar to one this coworker had, which felt like a possessive act. I raised these concerns with HR, acknowledging the hearsay nature of the report, but stressing the department's growing fear and dysfunction. HR assured me they were addressing the situation and that it would be resolved soon. To protect vulnerable employees, leadership began organizing group lunches and escorts for breaks, as some women feared Emma's unpredictable behavior. Male co-workers avoided one-on-one interactions with her, wary of false accusations. The situation was deeply personal for me, as a survivor of mental and physical abuse. Emma's threat of violence, combined with her proximity to my desk, triggered significant anxiety. My mental health deteriorated, derailing my progress in therapy and straining my relationship with my wife, who noticed my regression. I turned to alcohol to cope, drinking heavily after work, which left me ashamed and distant. Desperate for resolution, I considered refusing to come to work until Emma was terminated, though I was uneasy about pressuring the company. As Sunday approached, I braced for another tense week, hoping for her dismissal. Update. Thank you for the support and requests for updates. I delayed posting due to potential legal concerns, but I'm ready to share now. I regret using the term sociopath in my original post. I now believe Emma may have an undiagnosed cluster B personality disorder, such as borderline, histrionic, or narcissistic personality disorder, though I'm not a professional. Unlike the dramatic scenario I jokingly imagined, where the CEO fired Emma publicly, had her arrested, and I received a promotion and lavish rewards, the reality is more grounded, but positive. Emma is no longer with the company, and the department has largely recovered, with morale and productivity improving. Here's a concise overview of what happened. False attempted murder claim. Emma fixated on a coworker, whom I'll call Lisa, believing her to be the one who reported her to HR. Lisa, one of the women Emma imitated, distanced herself after filing her complaint, which upset Emma. Emma and a close relative, also employed at the company, began spreading rumors that Lisa's brother, who occasionally picked her up from work, tried to run Emma off a bridge in an attempted murder. They suggested Lisa orchestrated it due to her shady behavior. Device theft incident. Emma's relative, in an act of loyalty, stole Lisa's phone while she was away from her desk, accessing private messages where Lisa vented about Emma to a friend. The messages were reportedly harsh, and the relative sent screenshots to HR, framing them as evidence of bullying. This act, a crime in our state, backfired. HR addressed the messages with Lisa, which upset many employees given the unethical means of obtaining them. No formal discipline was issued to Lisa, but the incident fueled tension. Escalating behavior. As coworkers began avoiding Emma and her relative, Emma grew more unstable, blaming Lisa for the ostracism. Her relative spread rumors that Lisa had physically attacked Emma, though no formal reports were filed. Emma's emotional outbursts, crying and claiming fear for her safety, occurred only when leadership was absent, suggesting manipulation. Other departments also reported her erratic behavior to our leadership. Physical misconduct reports. The coworker Emma had slapped came forward to HR, reporting the incident as sexual assault. Within days, 2 others reported inappropriate physical contact, such as poking or leaning on their shoulders at their desks. The slapped coworker confided in me, expressing regret for not reporting sooner due to fear of retaliation, especially given Emma's history of threats. Resignation. On a random Monday, Emma had a public meltdown, sobbing uncontrollably and declaring she was done. She tore down personal sketches from her workspace, demanded a meeting with her manager, and abruptly quit. Her relative resigned the same day without notice. As a final act, one of them posted Lisa's private messages on social media, along with a post accusing the company of fostering bullying and admitting to sabotaging a coworker's work by misplacing or destroying critical materials. This coworker, a reserved individual, had been unfairly reprimanded for these mistakes. The posts were deleted shortly after, likely due to legal concerns. Aftermath. The department has returned to normal with improved morale and productivity. The sabotaged materials were related to cancer research studies, making Emma's actions particularly egregious. The company has not pursued legal action, likely preferring to move on. The male co-worker Emma accused of harassment has reintegrated and is supported by colleagues. I've reduced my alcohol use, refocused on therapy, and had an honest conversation with my wife about my struggles. She was upset by my withdrawal but supportive, and we're rebuilding together. I've heard Emma and her relative relocated to another state, as they had previously planned. If Lisa or others pursue legal action, I'll remove this post to avoid interfering. Thank you for the advice and support. It helped me feel less alone. The key takeaway is the importance of addressing mental health issues, especially severe ones like Emma's, through professional help.